Want to know about the best wineries to visit in Central Otago and the best ways to get there? Well, then keep listening as we take you on a wine hopper experience through this picturesque wine region of New Zealand. There are many ways to explore the region, including the wine hopper tour, private tours, and of course, bike and e-bike tours. We share the details on all of these different ways to get around the region. Come with us as we visit one tavern and 7 very different vineyards and cellar doors, which all have a unique way of sharing their wines with visitors. One of the cellar doors asked you to take a flight of fancy quiz to see which of the 5 different wine tastings is perfect for you. It was so much fun. Other vineyards we visited were in a rustic horse stables. One is featured in a famous TV show, another is a converted church. We had a wine tasting in the largest wine cave in New Zealand, enjoyed a prize-winning glamorous cellar door with the cutest little outdoor wine tasting cubby houses. We even tasted wine from the most southern cellar door in the world with a connection to Captain Cook, and we marvelled at the stunning views at each venue. The places we visited may have very different cellar doors and vineyards, but the one thing they have in common is their fabulous wine. Stay listening to the end, where we tell you how you can visit 2 of the most well-known and prize-winning wineries in Central Otago without driving, being on a tour, or riding a bike and walking, and it only costs $2. So grab a glass, sit back, and enjoy episode 79, all about the stunning Central Otago wine region. If you would like to see all the pictures of these vineyards and cellar doors, plus links to their websites and the tours that we talk about, then go to the podcast description on the player you're now listening on and click on the link to episode 79. Hey, hospitality enthusiasts, are you part of the vibrant worlds of travel, wineries, restaurants, tourism, or distilleries? Imagine showcasing your unique business on our podcast. This podcast you're listening to now. Picture an episode dedicated to your story, business, and the magic of your region. We're all about sharing extraordinary tales with our listeners, whether you're crafting exceptional spirits, curating culinary delights, guiding travelers, running a tourism venture, or creating fine wines, or anything in between. We want to hear from you. Let's explore what makes your spot and story stand out. If you're excited to share the magic of your business, get in touch. Click the link in the podcast description, or you can email me, Leanne, Leanne, at beachtravelwine.com. Let's spotlight what makes your business exceptional, so we can't wait to hear your incredible story. Well, here we are, Lyle, on one of our favourite things to do, yes?
Yes, morning, Miss World. How are you? Yeah,
Great.
Finally, our favourite day has arrived. Today we're going on a wine tasting tour.
Yes, we are.
And typical of Queenstown tourism,
Yes.
There's lots of choice of tour operators. There's a variety of novel ways to do the wine tours, and they think of everything.
Yeah, so we're, as I said in the intro, we're in the Central Otago region, which has one of the most southern wine regions in the world.
See?
And we're doing one wine tour that we did, and then we're going to talk about a couple of other wineries that we went to and spent a bit of time there as well. So quite a bit of info in today's episode. But why don't you, so as you said, there's a few different ways that you can do the tours.
So it's only about a 30-minute drive from downtown Queenstown to Gippsland Valley, which is really in the heart of Central Otago. You could self-drive.
Yeah.
But
why?
Well, we're not party poopers. We're not self-driving. We're going there to have a good time.
Yeah.
There's plenty of operators that do private tours, or you may prefer to meet some new friends on a small group tour.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to put some links to the tours that we're talking about, and I'll put the link to the one that we did, which we'll talk a bit more about in a little while. But there's a lot of bike tours. That's what you sort of are a bit fascinated with. For someone who doesn't like riding bikes.
Yeah, when you say fascinated, I think that's probably pushing it a bit. They do them. I wasn't fascinated. I thought, why would you do that? Like, how could you carry the bottles on the bike? Anyway, that's just me.
Well, but the shuttle bus.
Yeah, look, there's also you can do combo tours.
Yeah, okay.
So which I reckon's fabulous.
Well, so you go and do a wine tour and then
you can do.
You get pissed and then jump off a bungee.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that. You can do a helicopter.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, I'm
like
up for
you
that.
can all sorts of stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So if you only got one day,
yeah, you can do the jet boating.
right? So you go and do the jet boating, and then go and have a nice Pinot Noir somewhere. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
well,
Yeah,
you
what a
want to
good
do that.
idea.
You'd want to do
Do that
the
first.
jet boating first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or you may choose to catch the Gibson Valley Shuttle from downtown Queenstown. This shuttle bus 2 to 3 times daily to Gibson Valley Winery, where you can hire the bike.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Now the Gibson River Wine Trail meanders past dozens of cellar doors and other attractions lining the Gibson Valley. It's around 9 kilometres of flat, easy riding from end to end.
Okay, so what I was talking about there is, because there's different tracks. The 9-kilometre one starts at Gibson Valley Winery. You can get the shuttle bus from Queenstown, as you said, and you go to the winery, and then you hire your bike there, and there is a 9-kilometre loop. So it starts and does a loop around, and at any stage you can stop and someone will come and pick you up if you want.
So bike tour operators will also collect you from other points along the trail, so you don't have to do the full there and back thing. You can also go for a walk between the wineries as well, using that particular wine trail.
And there's also e-bikes if you're a bit lazy like us.
Look, one of the things, and we've still got the wine map here and the wine trail map. Look, they're really easy, understandable.
Yeah.
They've got lots of really great information.
And the good thing about this wine area is, especially this part of it, is all the wineries are so close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not having to go kilometres and long time between them. You can walk between some of them.
Yes, but we chose the wine hopper. It's a hop on and hop off style. It's the first time we've ever actually done it. It was fabulous.
Yeah, we did it because it's a bit of a cheaper option, and we'd been, like earlier in the trip, we'd been to some other wineries that we thought that a lot of the tours include. So we decided we'd do this one, and I think Andrew was our...
Yep. Andrew gave us top tasting tips on the journey out to Gibson, some general information, a history of Central Otago and its regions. The big advantage of this style is that you can linger as long as you want at your favourite spots and enjoy walks between cellar doors for a breath of fresh air, then simply hop back on the bus again as it passes various pickup points.
Yeah, so as we were going out, we get a map, and he's like, these are the wineries that we can include today. And you can choose which ones, and he suggests maybe 4, maybe 5, because that's the time you've got. And it doesn't matter where everyone else is going, he'll just drop you and he'll say, and he'll give you a time when he'll be back. So he gives you about 45 minutes, and Andrew says, if you want longer, just text me and I'll give you a bit more time, or if you had enough, and I'll come and get you a bit earlier, and fits it in with everyone else. So it's very flexible that way.
I'd say it was perfect.
Yeah, but I guess he knows that you need about the 45 minutes to an hour just to do the tastings. And so he gives you some suggestions, and it was wonderful. Now, some people wanted to start at Arrowtown, which is like a little town which has like a few little wine bars there, and then he just drops you where you want to go. So
it was quite funny because the thing that sort of surprised me is during the whole of the wine tour, we never saw anybody else that was on the bus until we actually were going home.
Yeah.
So it was so convenient.
Well, and there was us, and then there was a family with 2 younger kids. So Andrew was able to say, well, these wineries actually have activities and things that keep kids, a bit more fun for the kids as well. So, he also knows exactly. So you're not stuck to the one schedule. So it was great. I thought he did a really good job. But before we, and I said, I'll put the link to that tour that we did, or the Wine Hopper, in the show notes. So just go to the podcast player you're on in the show description, and there'll be a link to this episode, which is episode 79. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the history of Central Otago?
Yeah, this is...
and also the regions, because, we're talking about Central Otago.
Yeah.
It's not a big region, but there are some sub-regions in that, isn't it?
Yeah, so Andrew gave us this information on our way out to the to Gibson Valley. In 1864, the first grapes were planted in Central Otago and made into wine by Frenchman John Desiree Ferrard. Do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Coming from a winemaking family, he made his fortune in the Dustin Gold Rush of 1862 and quickly recognised the region's outstanding potential for grape growing, which was affirmed by the region's first gold medal for Burgundy in Sydney in 1881. However, stone fruit plantings dominated until renewed interest and commitment by the 1970s. Central Otago winemaking pioneers whose dreams become reality with the first modern commercial production of a Central Otago wine in 1987. Rapid growth of the industry through the 1990s and 2000 has seen the Central Otago wine growing region expand to an area of 2,000 hectares or 4,942 acres, with over 100 brands producing approximately 700,000 cases of Central Otago wine annually. Central Otago is the southernmost vineyards in the world.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's at 45 degrees south latitude. Pinot Noir is 81% of Central Otago's planting, is only 3% of wine production of New Zealand, and New Zealand produces less than 1% of the world's wine production.
And yet it's known worldwide. That says something about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I got this quote from actually Elizabeth Snyder's Wine for Normal People. This is challenging viticulture. It's extreme climate. With extreme climate, there's extreme payoffs. Because you have a number of soil types, each sub-region is going to have really well-drained soils. With this, you have lush fruit and you have silky tannins and a lot of subtleties.
Wow. Okay.
So now the sub-regions, which this is probably me geeking out.
Okay, well, geek out then.
Okay, so you've got Gibbston.
Yes.
Now, is the highest sub-region. Its cooler climate and north-facing hillside vines ripen later than neighbouring sub-region, producing lighter, though still intense wine.
So we've got Gibbston Valley, and it has Gibbston, right?
Yeah,
so that's one sub-region.
Okay, the next sub-region is Bannock Burn.
Yes, heard of that one.
It is situated on the southern bank of Lake Dunstan. The vineyard occupies one of the warmest, driest sites in Central Otago. Wine growing area. Harvest can be up to a month ahead of other sub-regions, and the wine produced are known to be highly distinctive and complex. Now, Cromwell, which is where Greg Hay
from Wet Jacket Wines,
Wines, he told us all about why he prefers Cromwell, is a southern end of the large basin filled by Lake Dunstan and surrounded by three sides by spectacular mountains. A large amount of soil variability and microclimates between vineyards in this area are a draw card, showing different styles and characteristics of the wine. Now, Alexandra, this is probably the most southern region, which is where Two Paddocks Wine, which is Sam Neill as winery, the famous Hollywood actor. The most southerly sub-regional incorporates vineyards in and around Clyde, Earnslow, and Alexandra. Spectacular schists, outcrops dominate the arid landscape, and the wide air temperature diurnal variation produces vividly varietal, aromatic and finely structured wine. And then you've got Terrace and Bendigo. Is situated on the north-west facing ridge at the junction of Cromwell and Lindis valleys, with more gentle slopes fanning out to the valley below. Vineyards planted on stony soils capture the extreme climate's hot summer, sun, and cold, clear nights, producing intensely flavoured, well-structured wine. And then finally, we've got Wanaka.
Wanaka.
Yeah, probably is Wanaka. Yeah. The most northerly, and due to its two lakes and proximity to the main divide, also the most temperate of the Central Otago subregion. Is moderate climate produces delicate, precise, and detailed wines.
So
all these sub-regions have their own cellar doors.
okay, so this is Central Otago. You've just gone through those regions, and you can see why the wines taste so different, because even in this area, there's such a variety of terroir.
Terroir. That's very good, Leanne. Terroir. Now,
I know. I'm learning.
tell us what terroir
Well, it's
is.
all the things that go into the area where, like the soil and the winds and the rainfall and the temperatures.
You mean the climate?
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, you said all the things. I just didn't want to say climate.
Yeah. So all the environment things that within
And
the environment.
What I'll do is I'm going to put a map of Central Otago wine region so you can see where this is. So so check out the description that on the play you're listening to, and go to the link to episode 79, and you'll see what we're talking about. Let's get to the fun stuff. All right. So we've given everybody where we are, all about why the wines are great, the regions and everything. But we want to talk about this particular wine hopper tour that we did. Now, we started talking about Andrew and how, he gave us all the information and the map. And so we chose our first stop to be on our wine tour, the Gibston Valley Tavern.
Yeah. Look, it's a Kiwi style tavern in the heart of Gibston wine country.
And we didn't even know there was a tavern here. We've been to this area a few times, and so I think we were more fascinated with finding the pub and going there first, weren't we?
Yeah, I just wanted a cleansing ale to start the trip. Look, it was really rustic, I suppose. Yeah. It was basically what happens. The original tavern burned down, so they put two shipping containers together, and then it's just got this A-frame corrugated iron roof. There's a beautiful, beautiful big open fire inside, and then outside.
Well, it's actually really rustic inside. You wouldn't know it's a shipping container.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, and a nice little bar inside, and you said the fire.
Yeah, it's quaint.
Yeah,
but the fire is beautiful.
But as you're walking up, you go through sort of the garden area, and there's all these beautiful outdoor tables and big trees, and they put a veranda around the outside of it, and a big covered sort of patio area where we sat, and big like a big huge. What's that thing they cook the pizza oven?
Yeah, the wood-fired pizza oven.
Yeah,
it's actually outside. Yeah, that's right. And we had a look at the menu, and the menu was pretty much dominated by the pizzas, and it was a bit early for a pizza, but what caught my eye was the prawn and mussel pizza.
Yes,
so their pizza was menu is pretty nice.
And you also said they had some really good vegetarian and vegan options.
They do specialise in that.
Yeah.
And look again, we jagged it. It was the most beautiful sunny day. The sky was amazing blue, and you're just surrounded by bloody snow-capped mountains. It's like, seriously.
So it's a great spot there to start. And they also have like a gin tasting sort of little shed, but we didn't get into that. But they've got outdoor games for children, like big, the giant size sort of, and it's like a chess set or not a domino set, that sort of stuff. An area where kids can
it's
play.
Definitely kids, and they say puppy friendly.
Okay, so it's a great spot to start. And so we had they brew some of their own beer too.
We had they got a fairly substantial menu for local craft beers. We had a couple of the craft beers, and it was nice.
Yeah. And luckily, that was our first stop, and our second stop was, what would you say, maybe 20 metres?
Well, I was going to say more like 10.
So, so our first actual wine tasting was at Rockburn Stables, which is once again an old stables. It's corrugated iron. It's what A frame. It's very rustic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so look, that's open for 7 days, and it's open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Look, the thing that really got me about Rockburn was the lady that helped us.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, Alex, and she was from France, and her passion for winemaking was just as obvious as her being so grateful for the opportunities that the management and winemaker, Malcolm Rees Francis, was offering her, that she would take her years more to have that opportunity in France that they were offering her here.
Yeah.
She loved the place. She was fabulous. She'd give us all the information
Yes.
on the wine that we were tasting, and I couldn't fault her. I thought she was great. So that was Alex.
And what I'm going to do is for each of these places that we're mentioning, I'm going to put a link to them in the show notes that go with this, and also I've got photos of each of these. So once again, go to the podcast player you're listening on in the description, click on the link to episode 79, and you'll see the photos of this beautiful wine cellar door, Rockburn, and how rustic it is. Now, just one of the wines that Rockburn is one of their most well-known, famous is their rosé. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, sure.
And it's called Stolen Kiss.
Yep.
And I just saw this week, because it's often hard to get a lot of these New Zealand wines in Australia, but it's now available in New South Wales and ACT at Superbarn. So if you're listening and you're in one of those places, go and find a Stolen Kiss rosé from Rockburn Stables. You won't be sorry.
Now, all Rockburn wines are handpicked from their Parkburn and Gibson vineyards, each site contributing fruit characteristics to reflect their unique terroir. All wines exhibit strong varietal characteristics highlighted in white varieties by crisp acids. It is also apparent, like Burgundy, there are distinct appellations within Central Otago. To taste a Gibson Pinot Noir, you experience its perfumed nose, typical violets and earthy forest floor sensations on the palate. Compare this with a low burn or park burn Pinot Noir with its darker colour and fuller, sweeter fruit. It is a distinct advantage to have vineyards in different appellations. So really, if you haven't listened to the podcast on Wet Jacket Wines with Greg Hay,
episode 78.
Yeah, he explains what the differences are between these, because there's very little distance between these vineyards,
wine growing regions in Central
and the
Otago.
regions, but the distinctiveness in each of those regions. Actually, to quote Elizabeth Snyder again, she says the purity of a Central Otago wine or New Zealand wine, you know exactly when you taste a Central Otago wine where it's from.
Right. Yeah, she's very good at that. So, we loved Rockburn Stables, the wines there.
Yep.
And then it was time for Andrew to pick us up, and we moved on to our next stop. Our next stop was Kinross, and we took a recommendation to go to Kinross from Andrew.
Yep.
Because Kinross actually has 5. They have their own wine, but they have 4 others, I think, that So you can have tastings from 5 different wineries in this one place. And when we got there, I really enjoyed it, because straight away they've come up to us, do you want something to eat? And and then the outdoor area where you sit, they've got these beautiful big leather lounges and an open fireplace, and it's open but it's cozy. And I just thought it looked really nice. Yeah,
I can't remember the guy that
his name, but
he did speak Spanish. So
did he?
Yeah. So you felt very at home straight away.
And this little place, there's some lovely views as well. So back, if you turn around, back from the fireplace, once again, there's the snow-capped mountains. There's all the vineyards, all the lines of all the grapevines. And there's these beautiful timber seats with the big Kinross sign there as well. And they actually have little accommodation places at this.
That's right.
So you can actually stay. So I've got some really nice photos of this vineyard. So, go to episode 79 and you'll see the photos. You'll get exactly what we're talking about. But this is a little bit different.
So the difference about this place is it does present wines from from Coalpit.
Yep.
Hawkshead,
yes,
Varley,
yes,
Wild Irishman. Now, Wild Irishman is the guy that has that Wild Irishman is also the guy from Gippsland Valley.
Yeah.
So he said he's the only one stupid enough to have 2 wineries in Central Otago, And also there's Kinross wines. Now, there's different wine experiences here. There's because obviously you've got 5 different wineries. Now, the first one, that what they call is the classic wine experience, which is $25 per head, which is for 40 minutes. Then you've got the Pinot Noir experience, which is $45 per head. And that's a minimum of 6 people to book this experience. Then you've got the premium Central Otago experience, which is $75 per person. Minimum number of 6 people to book this experience. Wine Advisor leads you on a journey into some of the hero varietals produced here, exploring different sub-regions and producers. Now,
so you can be going pretty in depth, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
if
pretty
that's
much,
what you
yeah.
want to do. Okay.
Now, what we chose
Yes.
was the Flight of Fancy.
Flight of Fancy. Now, I'm going to put, some information about this. It's a little, like when we first got it, Lyle rolled his eyes and said, what the heck's this? It's a little, what do they say? Be your own sommelier.
Sommelier.
Yeah, right. And let your taste buds lead the way. So it's this little sort of graph, and you start at the beginning, and you've got to have a either or. So the first one's peanut slab or pineapple lump. And then you go Lord of the Rings or Flight of the Conchords, and you just follow the arrow to which one you choose. Some of them are like Rugby World Cup, America's Cup, Sam Neill or Peter Jackson. And so, there's probably 20 different ones that you choose. And at the end, you come up with a number, and your flight is either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure how scientific it is.
Oh, it's not at all, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very unique.
And so, do you want to tell them what the different ones is, or would you like me?
Yeah, okay. So basically,
so if you get to number 1,
number 1 flight,
yes,
is rare salad and limited vintages, 3 wines, all red, for $29.
And that's called bucket list wines.
And then you've got the Pinot Noir road trip,
number 2.
Yeah, which is number 2, which is $19. And these wines are from Waitaki, Bannockburn, Bendigo, all Gippsland wines.
And they're 40 mil. You've got 3 wines at 40 mil pours for $19.
Yeah. So it's 3 wines, all red wines.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like tasting a single variety side by side to truly reveal the different characters of each region.
It says a pilgrimage for Pinot Noir lovers that can't be missed.
That's true. Then you've got 50 shades of Pinot Noir, which
number
is
3.
Yeah, which is number 3. It's $17.
Yep.
1 grape, 3 ways to enjoy it. So there's 3 wines. You get a sparkling wine, a rosé, and 1 red. Right. So that's using the Pinot Noir grape.
Yes.
Then you've got the journey through Gippsland, $19. New releases, 3 wines, 1 white and 2 reds. And this is the one I had. This is the whiter
5.
shade of pale. Yeah, flight number 5.
Yes.
Which was $17. And that was a Riesling, Fume Blanc, Pinot Gris, Sauv Blanc, or Chardonnay. So it's just 3.
You choose 3 of those.
3 of those. And I had the Fume Blanc, and I was pretty impressed, really.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, it was certainly unique. So,
and I love the surroundings there, as I said. And so we did. Well, I think we stayed a little bit extra time there because it was just such a nice place and a lot of fun to do that. And just how good is it for people to try something a bit different like that?
Look, our
initial what is this? To actually, this is really cool.
Yeah. Look, each of the wineries that we actually visited, they've all got their own unique experience. So,
and this was a really nice one I liked. So that's Kinross, and that's a good one to visit, as I said, because they have wines from 5 different places. So of course you don't have to do any of that. You can just sit there and have they've got like a nice little menu and you just have a glass of wine as well, which there were quite a few people doing that as well, wasn't there?
Yep.
Okay, so Andrew comes back, we hop back on the bus, we're having a wonderful time, and we then head to Mount Rosa or Rosa.
I think probably Rosa.
Okay, yeah. The thing that stands out from this place for me, and you've got to see the photos of this, are the sculptures, I guess you'd call them, outdoors. They're great big rams and sheep, aren't they? And they're probably 3 times normal size sheep, and they're made out of sticks.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're fascinating.
Yeah, well, originally it was a sheep farm.
Yes.
Okay. And the owners there, they bought it with another couple, and they realised that I think the price of wool at that particular time went down. So they then decided to plant some grapes. Now, it's Guy and Anne Boanis. Now, they've been there since 1998 and they're still there.
Once again, though, it's a corrugated iron shed.
Yeah.
Or it's not really a shed. This is a bit more substantial structure. And when we arrived, they were filming a TV show. Remember?
Yeah, that was for Europe.
Yeah,
European.
It was like a food show.
Food show, yeah. So, but look again, the backdrop.
Yeah,
it's just amazing, and it was getting a bit cooler by this stage. Okay. It was in the afternoon, so it's a relaxed rural setting nestled amidst rows of vines, surrounded by mountains and hillsides, dotted with wild herbs and dramatic mountain landscapes.
Yeah.
It is what you'll experience at Mount Rosa.
Yeah.
A roaring fire to keep you toasty in the winter months, and a snowy courtyard to catch the rays in summer. I thought the thing that stood out to me about this was the staff.
Yeah, they were lovely. Well, there's staff everywhere, but they obviously have some tables that they really look after, and they were so friendly and so helpful. This is how helpful they were. She even talked me into having a mulled wine.
She did. She did.
I didn't mind it. I'm not a big mulled wine fan, but she assured me that it's the best in all Central Otago, and how can you say no to that? So I did enjoy that.
And there's the Baz, the wiry little terrier.
I think he went missing. Like, he goes wandering, and someone always brings him back.
Well, apparently they have a wine dog annual calendar that comes out, and
he's famous, is he?
Yeah, and Baz is pretty famous on that, and he's listed as an Alsatian, and
what?
He's listed as being an Alsatian. Guy, the owner, actually said that he had to sling him $20 to put that in, because he tells some of his guests that that he is an Alsatian. They look at him a little bit weird. So that's obviously Guy's sense of humour.
That's weird.
Look, you enjoy 5 different varieties, all grown on site at the vineyard.
In a tasting, yeah.
Yeah. Choose to taste all varietals or focus just on our special Pinot Noir, on their special. Yeah. It's $20 per person. Tasting fee is waived upon the purchase of 2 or more bottles of wine.
Yeah. Now, we chose just to have a glass of wine. And the mulled wine, we didn't do the tasting.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting a bit tired, I think. Now, the other thing about
Mount
Rosa is their menu is basically platters. Yeah.
Now, one of the things Andrew does, he says, tell me where you'd like to have food, because you need to book for some of them, or we can pre-arrange it. And this is one of those ones, if you want a platter, then let me know, and he'll organise it ahead of time, which is really helpful, because some of them are quite substantial, aren't they?
Yeah, well, when we were sitting there and the boards were coming out, they looked spectacular. They really, really did. So you can get small boards.
Yep.
And that's bread, dacao, and hummus platter for $15, chicken, truffle, and mushroom parfait for $20. Then you can go to the large boards, and then you can go to the Valley Platter, which is $75. Now, I wasn't going to go through all the platters, but I have to for this, because it sounds spectacular. A selection of local cheeses, hot smoked salmon, garden greens, beetroot relish.
Stop, got me there.
I knew that.
As soon as there's beetroot relish, I'm in.
Hummus with dacao and olive oil.
Ducker.
Beetroot hummus, pickles, Sicilian olives,
right.
Truffle and mushroom parfait, dried fruit, toasted walnuts, sourdough and Turkish bread.
Sourdough and Turkish bread, yeah.
Yeah, so that's their thing. That's their unique offering, is the platters. And seriously, we were looking at them, on all the tables around us, and they did look pretty spectacular.
So, once again, go on the podcast player listening on, go to the podcast description, and the link to episode 79 will be there, and you'll see photos of Mount Rosa, and we'll put links to all these wineries that we're talking about. And then it was time to move on to our last little vineyard of the day. So our last little vineyard of the day was not really
A
vineyard, the
last
cellar door.
adventure.
Yes, a part of this, the wine hopper, was a little place called the church, and it's called the church because it is a church, right?
Correct.
And it was moved here, wasn't it?
Yeah, the church was moved here in 2000 in one piece from the small South Island town of Wangala. The church was built in 1894 and was originally used as a Presbyterian church and town hall. Look, I did read all about the history and how they moved it and that sort of thing. And to be honest, that intrigued me, just the way they renovated and how they renovated and what they had to go through. So that's on their website. It's probably worth a read.
Well, as I said, I'll put a link to that. Now, when you arrive here, this is probably our second or third time we've been to this little place, and we chose to go there because we just knew it was so picturesque. And as you walk in, there's this beautiful path which is lined with lavender hedge all the way along, and then you arrive at the church. Now you can sit outside. They've got lots of grassed area where you can sit. And they've also got a veranda outside the church that you can sit, or you can even go inside the church if you need to. Now, Andrew did say that he goes to here quite often with his family because it's just a great spot for the kids as well. Those huge grass sort of area where they can run around and play. So I think it's just a really nice spot to go. It's also, I think another reason we wanted to go is there's a show we've been watching called Under the Vines, which is all about a drama, all set in Central Otago, really, about this winery. And they have the church actually appears in that show, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's featured in the first series.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And it's the first change. It sort of changes hands a little bit. Like the first time we went, it had a wine tasting, and then it changed to a brewery.
Yeah.
And then when we were there, we were lucky enough that it was the cellar door for Mount Edward wines.
Yeah.
So we got to taste some of those, which I'd never had before as well. So, and a lovely American lady that's now moved here and is running the church.
Yeah, I think she leases it. So
yeah.
Look,
and they have food there as well.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, we had I would suggest the best chips.
Yeah, hot chips.
Hot chips I've ever tasted. I think there was double blanched, and they were beautiful. Yeah, we just felt like something to eat.
Yeah, by
that stage, just something light, because we did have something to eat also at Mount Rossa.
Okay, we did.
Yeah, I can remember. I can still taste the hot smoked salmon. It was very, very nice.
But this is one of my little favourite places because it is so picturesque, and once again you're sitting there and you're looking at the snow-capped mountains and you're surrounded by green pasture. It's just a beautiful little spot.
Yeah, the actual setting of this place is probably as good as it gets.
Yeah, and once again, go and check out episode 79. I've got pictures of this beautiful one. So then Andrew picked us up and dropped us home. But I actually wanted to mention, I didn't finish at Mount Rossa. We actually ran into people there that were doing an e-bike tour.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. And so they got on their bikes at Arrowtown.
Yeah.
And you can just basically ride until you don't want to ride anymore, and you stop at whatever winery you like, and they come and get your bike. So you don't have to ride back. So
you must text them or something.
Yeah, I guess so. But the thing that I wanted to mention is these bike tracks, you're not on the roads. They've actually got a separate...
Yeah, it's a trail.
Trail, right?
Yeah.
So it's safe and you can walk as well. So, and there's different ones. So there's not just that one, the 9... Lyle's looking at me like I'm an idiot. Like, there's not just that... Yes, you are. There's not just that...
I'm just trying to work out whether or not you're trying to convince me to do a bike tour.
I'll do it by myself, don't you worry. But there's different lengths and different paths and tracks that you can take, not just the one that we mentioned earlier. That was my point. And these people it was a mum and dad and their grown-up daughters, and they were having a wonderful day, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. So Andrew picks us up from the church and we head, he was really nice. He stopped at Lake Hayes.
Yeah.
Because we'd driven past that a few times and I just really wanted to stop. It was a bit late and it was quite cloudy by then, so it was quite a moody. I know you make fun of me for using that word too, but it was quite beautiful seeing it at a different time of day. And
Oh, yeah, look, the reflection of the snow-capped mountains on the actual lake.
Yeah, so Lake Hayes is
it was pretty impressive.
Another spot that you certainly should visit. So yeah, we love that wine hopper tour, and so check out the link to that in the show notes.
Can you remember how much it was? It was only about $75 for the day.
It was cheap. Yeah, but they also do the more private and guided tours as well. So they've got those options if that's what you want, because we have done those in the past and we enjoyed those as well.
Sure.
Now, one of the wineries that I did want to talk about, there's a couple more that we've been to that we've done on other days. And the first one is Amersfield. Now, most people have heard of Amersfield. You know, it's very well known. It's won all these awards and things. But the thing that's really cool about getting to Amersfield is you can hop on the local bus right in the main area of Queenstown, and it's $2 each way, and it has a bus stop. There's a bus stop at Amersfield, so you just hop off there and do your wine tasting, have your meal, whatever you want to do, and then you can, time it when the bus is coming back and it picks you up and drops you. It's only about 15-minute bus ride, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far, but don't you have to have that B card?
Well, you can pay with another card, but if you've got the B card, it's cheaper. So
yeah. So I couldn't believe it, like value for money.
Right.
$4 return. Like, it was crazy.
And there's another winery about 500 metres up the road called Mora, which is a very famous one as well. We didn't go there, but you could do the same. You could hop off there and it's, book for lunch, that sort of stuff. And I'd certainly suggest that if you're going to go to Amersfield, you book for a meal because, anyway, you're going to tell us a bit about the wine tastings and things you can do there. But I've got some beautiful photos of the outside of Amersfield because we got a glass of wine and went outside, and there's this beautiful long fountain pool area, and then there's like a big tractor on the paddocks with the vines behind it, and of course the snow-capped mountains. And then they've got these two little gorgeous glass tasting not tasting
capsules.
Like little cubby houses, really, with a table in them. So if it's cold or wet, or you can actually sit inside those and still have the views. So I thought they were gorgeous.
Yeah. Look at it's the tastings are from Monday to Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's located on 10 Lake Hayes Road, only a really short drive from Arrowtown. It's also a local bus trip, as Leanne said.
Yeah.
There's a lot very special about Amersfield.
Yes.
It's spectacular views surrounded by snow-capped mountains.
As I said, yeah.
They are reflected by the crystal clear waters of Lake Hayes.
Yes.
The exterior of the building is impressive. It's like it's built with that stone,
yes.
And seriously, it's impressive. The interior is modern yet warm. The restaurant menu is unique and highly recommended by locals, and the wine quality is unquestionable. Lunch and dinner offer multi-course degustation menu that promises an exciting seasonal exploration of regional flavours. Now, it has won the Cuisine Good Food Award Restaurant of the Year for 2023.
Yeah,
okay. It's also won the New Zealand Organic Wine Award Sustainable Winery of the Year for 2023. The tasting is $25 per person for up to 5 wines, but this is waived also if you buy 2 bottles of wine. Look, it's seriously, Amersfield is pretty special.
Yeah. I remember we went to a restaurant in Queenstown and they said, "Have you tried the Amersfield Pinot Noir?" I'm like, no, but I want to have it every day now.
Well, I think one of the things that you can get it at Dan Murphy's here in Queensland, in Australia. It's pretty widely distributed Amersfield. It's not cheap,
no,
but
we want to treat yourself. Though.
Yeah, if we want to give ourselves a bit of a special treat, we quite often will get an Amersfield, and their Sauv Blanc
is nice.
And the Pinot Gris. Yeah. Well, now we're going to go on and on and on. But look, it's beautiful.
Good thing it's only 9 o'clock in the morning when we're doing this, so we might have to have a tasting. So that's Amersfield, and I just think if you don't have a car and you don't want to do a tour or you just want to go out for lunch, you can hop on that bus in Queenstown, and it's so easy. Yeah. One of the things I sort of want to clear up now, because people might be a little bit confused. we talk about Gibbston Valley as part of one of the regions of Otago, of Central Otago, right, which is where we are. But there is also a vineyard, a winery, cellar door called Gibbston Valley, isn't it?
Yeah, the winery is home to the region's oldest vineyards,
yes,
New Zealand's largest wine cave, and a bistro-style restaurant and cellar door.
Now we did a wine tour to this beautiful winery, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a private one, wasn't it? Yeah.
And although, well, there was a couple of others with us, but this is a place that you just don't want to stop for an hour. You want to go and have they do the boards as well, or a nice lunch.
Yeah, yes. Well, the tour actually we booked included lunch, so
and they do a tour of the wine cave, which is pretty impressive, isn't it?
Well, they do 3 specific different types of tours. There's a wine cave tour, which includes 3 wine tastings, and it's $25 per person, duration 30 minutes. Then there's the winery tour, which is a tour of the vineyard, winemaking process, and inside the wine cave includes 4 premium tastings, $38 per person.
That's the one we did.
Yeah, and then there's the wine and cheese tour. The incredible intricacies of wine and cheese pairing is explained. Includes 3 wines and 5 cheese tastings, and it's $50 per head. And you've got to book it. It's at 2 p.m. only.
Yeah, so we did the cave tour, and I've got a lovely picture of at the beginning of the cave, and it's, like you don't know how, you look at it and you think, how far in does this cave go? It's lined with barrels and barrels and barrels of wine. And then you go right down towards the end, and there's like a big sort of open room where you do your wine tasting.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot more in Europe of the wine caves. It's a big thing there, because obviously it keeps the temperature at a fairly regular temperature.
But this was impressive.
Oh, look, it was beautiful.
It's the only one we've seen in New Zealand.
Sure, it's the only one we've seen in Australia, actually, right, or New Zealand. Yeah, so.
And when we were there was a helicopter land. And so that's pretty, because it's sort of a bit more upmarket, I guess. The wine and not the wine, but the food, the experience they have at this winery, it's not quite as casual as sitting there with the dog and like getting mulled wine and that sort of stuff. They've marketed a little bit more sophisticated, and it's one of those places that you can have the experience where you can fly in and do a private. You can do the private cheese or the private cave tour as well. So
there's also accommodation there.
Right.
And also they've got their own, what would you call it? It's like a golf club. It's a 9-course golf course. Country club. That's the word.
And they're developing that even more at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah. And they're actually, I think they're selling off some of the land for retirement villages.
Okay. Accommodation anyway.
Yeah.
And as you said earlier in the podcast, this is where they start they've got like their own bike tour. So everything you want basically comes from you can do it Gibbston Valley Wines. Yeah. And it's well known in the area, of course. And I remember also first tasting their Pinot Noir, and I was pretty blown away by that.
Yeah, that was probably the first time we actually did have a Central Otago Pinot Noir, and it was like blazing.
You remember that guy? It was at the Captain restaurant. I remember it, right? Yeah. He was the one that said, "Have you tried a Gibbston Valley?"
That's right. That's right. You did. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And then we didn't realise that Trapper and Anna actually owned the Captain's Table and renovated it.
Yeah, that's true. So that was so that's another winery that you probably could do on a wine tour, but it's worth taking a couple of hours to go there and at least go into the cave and try some of the cheeses, or even have a meal, because they've got a lovely big indoor area, but it's sort of got a lovely courtyard as well. So if it's a nice day, you're quite sheltered from winds and stuff, and it's just a lovely atmosphere and a beautiful winery there at Gibbston Valley Wines.
Yeah. Look, I think anywhere to have lunch in this area, the food's going to be spectacular, and whether it be Amersfield for the degustation, Gibbston Valley Winery. Then we got recommended to go that Moira. That was those 2 ladies. They really recommended
the platter at Mount Rosa.
Yeah, and then or you could go into Arrowtown. Seriously,
or the Woodfire Pizza at the Tavern. There's just so many options.
Yeah, and it's all fabulous.
It is. But we couldn't finish a wine podcast if we didn't mention wet jacket wines. Now, if you haven't listened to episode 78, we've done a whole podcast about wet jacket wines. And the reason we done that is we spoke to the owner and the creator of Wet Jacket Wines. And there's a whole story about Greg Hay and how he's into his conservation and where the wet jacket name came from. And it's a fascinating story. And then his winemaking philosophy. But if you want to try some absolutely spectacular wine, you need to go to Wet Jacket Wines. Now, its tasting rooms are at the Frankton Marina, so they're actually floating on the water, which is I guess like a good combination with the name of the wine, right?
Yep.
And you sit there and you look out over Lake Wakatipu over to the Remarkables, which are always got snow on them, summer and winter, and it's just the most glorious spot to have a glass of wine. And if you like Pinot Gris, this is the one for you, Wet Jacket Wines.
Yeah, I mean, Greg's philosophy is horses for courses for the great varieties. So he's more into almost like it's a recipe.
Yes, a little bit of this, and
a little bit of that, to create rather than just the one estate wines. He actually goes out and sources the best of the grapes that are available, depending on the seasonal, the climate, and all that sort of thing. And I would say that Wet Jacket is exceptional.
And you don't want to drive to Wet Jacket Wines. You could always grab a taxi from Queenstown. It's not that far. But what we did is we got the water taxi, and you can hop on that right there in the main lake area in Queenstown. I think it's $10 on your B card once again, and you it's not even it's a 10-minute ride, and you go maybe a bit more, but the ride out there, across that main sort of bay of Queenstown, across Lake Wakatipu, and you go around the headland where the botanic gardens are, and then as you come around, the Remarkables are there. It's just the most beautiful view, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you pass it. Is it Kelvin Heights, the actual that
suburb of Queenstown? So check out Wet Jacket Wines, and as I said, I'm going to put a link to all the wineries in the show notes. So go to the podcast player you're on, go to the description of this episode 79, and click on the link, and in the link there'll be a map of the wine region, links to the wineries we've talked about, photos of the wineries we've been to, and also the tour that we did, and some of the bike tours that you can do. So there's a whole page of information. And there's also an interactive map of each of the wineries, so you can see them as well where we went. So lots of great information there. Hey. Yeah. So one of our favourite things to do.
Yeah, and I think throughout that whole wine tour, I don't think there was a wine that was disappointing.
No. Well, there never usually is there?
No, but it was like exceptional.
Yeah, perfect wines. So, okay then, where was your this is a bit, sorry to anyone that we don't include, but it's probably more to do with the timing of the day and the views more than the wine. So, I'm just going to put that out there because I don't want to offend anybody.
No, I get what you're saying. I've got to go Wet Jacket.
Okay.
I know. Can you looking at me as though to say you prick? Because because you probably would have picked that too. But yeah, look, it was because it's so different. It's on the water.
Yeah.
So and of course the wine goes.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Amersfield, but
Amersfield's damn good.
Yeah, but they get all the not the notification. They get all the glory that they need. And Gibbston Valley wines they do as well. I think look, I love Mount Rosa because of the staff and the all that fun stuff there.
I reckon I know where you're going to go.
I loved Rockburn because I'm not really a rosé girl, but that Stolen Kiss was really nice.
And Alex was lovely.
Yeah, she was lovely. And I loved Kinross because I thought the way they did their wine tasting was wonderful. So yes, I'm going to give them all 5 stars.
Well done,
Yeah.
Leonardo.
Do you know what?
Oh, well, you got out of that really
If
well.
I was in a wine shop and I saw wines from any of the ones we've been to,
Yeah.
I'd pick I would pick them over anything else because they're all so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for your insight into the terroir.
Terroir, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time or next podcast. Well, we've got a few things coming up that we're still in New Zealand. And we've got some exciting things coming up in the next couple of podcasts. So look forward to those. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from her.